Jai Bhairava Baba. Don't ask Bhairava Baba for his blessing. Don't ask for wealth and don't even ask for spiritual progress. Just say, it is my duty to love you and it is your duty to be just simply loved and love him with all of your being, with full intensity, full ferocity, and full madness. Let the love for your deity manifest with such madness that it shatters every rule, every boundary of polite worship. This is the madness of a child screaming for its mother, or of a lover threatening to destroy themselves in the agony of separation from their beloved. This is the very heart of the path of Bhairava Baba and the core of Sakti Upasana. It is the secret that the greatest saints carried in their hearts and enacted with their bodies. We are talking about the sacred madness that finally makes Bhairava Baba turn his head and take notice towards you. And let's be clear, Vira Baba is no ordinary deity. He is the fiercest but also the kindest of all deities. And if you take one step towards him, he takes two steps towards you. The Kashmiri Saiva masters had such madness and such longing for Vaira Baba that they would often be lost in the ecstasy of Vaira Baba, speaking to him directly, weeping in gratitude, and their entire being was consumed by this madness for Vaira Baba. This madness is a threat, not a threat of violence, but a threat of total self destruction through love. It is saying to Vaira Baba, if you do not reveal yourself, this me that seeks you will die of longing anyway. So take me now, consume me right now. This is the gamble of the true lover. In Vijnana Vairava Tantra, Vairava Baba tells Paradevi or Vairavi how to realize Vairava within us, and he gives 112 dharanas, which are basically techniques or methods to enter the Vairava state. Many of these are doors of intense single pointed feeling. One technique involves concentrating on a great delight or joy until you burst into the boundless. Another involves immersing in a powerful sorrow or fear and piercing through its center to find the silent witness, Vaira Baba himself. The Vijnana Vairava Tantra implies use your raw emotion as the fuel. Do not suppress it, but instead offer it. Abhinavagupta, in his Tantra Loka, speaks of bhavana, the power of intense feeling and imagination. To worship Vaira Baba is to become the devotee of Vaira Baba so completely that your identity melts. It is to feel his fierce, all pervasive presence until your own heartbeat feels like the rhythm of his footsteps. This path recognizes your Svabhava, your own inherent nature. Your relationship with Vaira Baba will be shaped by your own deepest Vava. Your madness will be unique and yours alone. It depends on your Vava. For most of us, our heart is full of a sweet, aching love, and we let our japa be a weeping call. Baba, where are you? I cannot bear the distance. But some of us have a dominant feeling that is not sweet. What if it is anger? Offer that to Vaira Baba too. Offer your anger at his feet and say, Baba, I have been chanting your name. I am doing the practice. Why do you remain hidden? Show yourself. This is the intimacy of a furious child calling his father to come be with him. And by doing this, you are throwing your anger, which is just blocked energy, at Vaira Baba's feet directly, the source of all energy, asking him to take it back and transform it. But what if sometimes you are overtaken by emotions such as lust or greed or burning desire? Take that fire too and surrender it to Vaira Baba, because nothing remains impure at Vaira Baba's feet. Anything you offer to him, no matter how impure, instantly transforms into divine energy. This kind of madness cannot be pretended. It starts by asking yourself before you chant, who am I calling? Am I actually forming a connection with Bhairava Baba, or am I just repeating sounds? It must come from a deep, genuine cry within. Then you nurture that cry. You let the mantra become that cry. You intensify it with every repetition. You chant not just with your lips, but with your blood, with your bones, with every memory of loss and every spark of joy. You let the longing to see Bhairava Baba become more real than this world around you. And in that state of raw, mad honesty, you finally fall into Bhairava Baba's gaze. And once Vira Baba fixes his glance upon you, it instantly shakes the foundations of who you thought you were. It maddens you further, but now with this madness of his own boundless state. The path of a Vairab Upasaka is the path of the fearless lover, the one who is willing to take the raw, untamed truth of their own heart and offer it as the only true prayer to Vairab Baba's feet. But it is important to remember that this madness cannot be forced and must come from within. Seek truth, seek Vairab Baba with such unbearable honesty that your life becomes the demand. That demand itself is the madness, and that madness is the only offering worthy of the one who is beyond all, and wait for his roar in your heart's silence.